Hello my lovely people, Kitten here, and this is really exciting. This is a roundup of our Christmas knitting pattern special. I've done it, I finished it, and I finished it before we launch in December, which didn't quite manage last year. If you don't know me, my name is Kitten. I run the Kitten in the Goat in Kendal, and my thing here on YouTube is helping beginner knitters get through all the jargon and complicated stuff and actually do knitting. Everything is really simple, everything is explained for you in proper words and language, no silly letters and abbreviations. If you on my email list, you get a free pattern every month, and you will have your series of Christmas patterns through December. It's already scheduled, programmed. If you're not on my email list, you still have a few days to get on the list to catch up. Once December is finished, once the last email goes out, that's it. The series never gets released anywhere else. It never goes into print anywhere else. It is only for my email lists in December. Okay, I will try, I'm not promising, I will try to schedule the item projects in the same order as they go out on the email. So if you just want to look at one and not look at the rest of them and not get any spoilers, you can do that. I won't guarantee it because you all know how scatty I am. The reason I put them all together in one video is some of them are only a few sentences, but a lot of them build on each other. They're really simple, really basic. You won't have any problems at all. There's 2 or 3 more meaty projects for you to get your teeth in if you want something a bit more special.
Should be used to
already. So have a look while I sort Eddie out.
Down a little alley in the heart of Kendal town is a tiny independent yarn shop. Welcome to the wonderful world of the kitten and the goat.
This is your envelope, well, going to be your envelope shape. Again, it's very simple. The trick is putting it together. So we've got where you finished. Take the diagonal corner. How are we going to do this waving about in the air? Take the diagonal corner and secure it. Where are you? Like that. Diagonal to diagonal. So you've joined across the back. It does help if you press this first, I have to admit. Press it first and then you'll be able to see what you're working a lot better. I've literally just finished this and I'm rushing to get along, as I always am. Then you take one corner to here. You're going to have to put your finger in because you want to sew this seam together without sewing it to the front. Sew that seam together. That makes your little envelope. Take your tail here. Oh, I haven't left enough there, but if you're clever enough to remember to leave a long loop here, you can actually you don't need more than that, really, do you? Make a loop for a button. Put your button here so you can fold it. You want a little bit of a loop on this side so you could hang it on the tree, and then you could write somebody's name on a piece of fabric and sew it on, or if you're really clever you could embroider their name on, use it as a gift card holder, hang it on the tree, or do a lot for your advent calendar, put names on it, that kind of thing. That's our little envelope. These are your hanging curls. The only thing different you need to know about this one is how you cast off to get it to curl up. So we knit one, we purl two together, you pass your knitted stitch over, you knit one, you pass your stitch over. Keep this as tight as you can. You're going to purl two and pass your stitch over. You're going to knit one, pass your stitch over, purl two together, pass over, knit one, pass over, and where's my one I made previously? Here's the one I made previously. It tightens your cast off row, so you deliberately curl it. You can hang a bell on the end or some beads if you want. Leave a long tail so you can make a hanging loop there, and those are your hanging curl decorations. These are your paper chains. Not much to tell you about these, very straightforward. Knit your strip, your first one in your circle and join, and from then on you're putting it in your circle. Should have threaded the needle to start with, shouldn't I? 2 seconds, let me thread the needle. You watch the wobbly screen. It's only a skinny little strip, so when you join it, make sure you get right on that corner. Oop. You want to join edge to edge with your cast off and on tails. I have found that it's better to go sort of 3/4 of the way with one side of thread, and then get this one and make sure you join it right on that strip rather than here. You get a much neater, squarer edge if you come in from both sides joining on. And basically just keep going till you're sick of knitting little strips, sewing them all together. Colour coordinate them. This year we're doing the classic colours, so yeah, go for it. This is your cracker hat. It's all plain knitting. There's only one little thing you need to know for the increasing. You're going along. When you get to the last stitch, you're going to pick up that bar in front of the last stitch, knit into it, knit the last stitch. Every other row on the way back down is knit. You increase like that until you have 20 stitches, and then when you decrease, you get down to the last 3, you knit 2 together, and then you knit 1. If you make sure you knit the very last one on each side, you get a much neater row. You can do it in one colour, you can do it in lots of colours. If you're going to change colour, mine's all different colours, make sure that you always change colour the same side, because otherwise you'll get these bits and the neat bit showing, and you just want that bit showing. They come in panels, so you can just drop 2 panels if you want to make a baby's hat, or you can add a panel if you've got a big lad around, whatever you need. And they do stretch a bit, so
good old-fashioned cracker hats.
Your bell is really, really easy. It's just a strip knitted this way, the plain knitting, and knit pearl on the edge. It makes it do its curl. It does that all by itself. You don't have to do anything to it. Sew it up the back, gather the top, put a little bell in it. You can make a pair with a big bow. Very, very simple, your bell. This is your ruffle garland. It looks a bit odd before you twist it, but when you twist it, it kind of does this. I wanted to try, you probably don't remember, when we were kids we used to have this crepe paper decoration that was sewn and gathered down the middle, and then you twisted it to create this wrapped effect. It's a compromise between getting a twist for you and getting the length and using as much use out of your yarn as you can get, and doing a very, very tight curl. Two different ways to do it. This is the looser way. It's very, very simple. It's taken me a while to make it sit like this, but you cast on and you knit 3 rows, and then you knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You turn. Big blanket on because it's chilly in the shop today and it's catching everywhere. Turn the whole thing round and you knit your stitches back again. Okay, so off we go again for another row. You can see the little step there where you've increased it. This time 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to turn the whole thing round and we're going to knit back again. What it does is it puts a little cheese shaped wedge, and grows this a little bit. So you can see there. The next time you do 4 stitches and back again, and that makes, can we find one? It makes one of these sections where it pushes that out. Then you do 1, 2, 3 plain rows to take you to this side, and then you do the same thing again. 8, 6, 4, 1, 2, 3, and you just keep going. You just keep going, and it puts it so that when you twist it, you get a lovely helix shape like that. If you want a really, really tight curl, you can just work 1 row between your 3 blocks of increases. It does take you a long time to make any kind of length of bunting. I mean, bear in mind this is going to be hanging up on the wall, so it's going to take you a little while and use more yarn. So this is a compromise, so you can still get your twist but get more length quickly. You know me, if there's a quicker way, an easier way, we'll do it. So that is your twisted ruffle garland. For our carrot, I thought we'd look at how we finish off. The carrot itself is very easy. Cast on, you're knitting 1, knit 2 together at the end of every row, so you get a nice, gentle, neat decline in. But when we get down to the bottom, knit 1, knit 2 together. Seem to be struggling with focus for some reason. Hello, little camera. Knit 2 together, knit 1, and then it's just a straight purl on the way back, purl, 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 purl. Obviously when you get down to 4 you haven't got a knit 1 each side, so just 2 together, knit, purl 2 together to finish. Now when you finish your piece, especially something like this, leave a long tail cut it off so that you don't have to join in another piece of yarn and get a join in here. To keep your work secure, you're going to have to pull your tail through that loop, pull it tight, and do pull it tight, slip it down so it's tight, and then you can use this to sew all this down here together before we put our leaves on. Now look how lovely and neat that seams together when you keep your side edges straight. It makes a beautifully shaped carrot. So then you put a little bit of toy stuffing, wadding, bit of cotton wool in there, gather this up. I'm going to run a stitch round there and gather it up. And then we want a couple of little leaves. Now the leaves are the opposite. You want them rough on the edges because leaves are rough on the edges. So you're knitting in 2 together and you're increasing right on the edge. I don't think it makes a great deal of difference which way round it goes. Leave a tail, sew it on there. So we have a carrot hanger with a Christmas tree. Now your wreath is made up of an I-cord. So I'm going to show you how to make an I-cord. Very, very simple. You cast on the 4 or 6, not much more than that because it doesn't work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now instead of turning your needle round, you need to slip these stitches back onto this needle, okay, and you keep knitting. 1, 2, 3. Don't turn it, let it do what it does. Slip them back onto here. I'm actually using a pair of children's plastic knitting needles because if you use plastic or bamboo, it holds onto the stitches better. The metal is great, love it, but if you're working a tiny amount of stitches, they scoot and slide about a bit more, And if you work with plastic or bamboo, the needles hold on to the stitch better. And as you've got such a small amount of stitches, back on there, and you just keep going. If it looks familiar, yes, it's French knitting. It's French knitting without the dolly. What else do they call it? Can't remember now. French knitting. You know, the thing you put with a cotton reel and 4 nails. You just keep going. Not that you need to keep a little bit of tension on it, but it will do what it does, and you just keep going, and it will pull itself round. There we go. Here's the ones I did. Here's something I made earlier. Once you get going, you can't tell which is the front and which is the back. Now, to make up your wreath, you've got 3 of these. Hold them. I'm going to struggle here because I'm waving about in midair. But clip them at the top with a peg, and then you want to plait these down. If you don't know how to plait, there's loads of videos on YouTube that will do a lot better job showing you how to do it than I can do it, because I'm waving about in midair doing this. Hello, I'll be right with you. Sorry, people. Customers. Plait to the end, and then bring these 2 together, tie them in a knot, and you can hide your knot with a ribbon bow. Put a bell or something in the centre if you want to. That's your plaited wreath. There we go. And here we have the basic plain body shape for our snowmen, created the way that we always do to bump shapes. You're knitting into the front back of every stitch, and then knit 1 front back. We're growing it to there. It gradually spreads out to make the circle. Then we're coming in for the neck, in for the neck, out for the head, finishing on the top of the head. Yeah, that's it. That's your snowman. Very, very simple. Each line is written out for you, so you can mark it off as you go. You might find a row counter helpful if you prefer, but you can just tick your lines as you go down. The long drop bauble pattern is a real bit of fun. I'm not going to talk you through the actual working of it, because it's the same. It's picking up in between, it's increasing, it's decreasing. But what I've done, I've given you a long point on the bottom, less on the top. I might even round that off a bit. But I've given you between 10 to 14 rows in the middle where you can do your own thing. You can just knit up completely in the same if you want to. You can do it stripes, you could do it ribs, you could put a different colour in. I've put a glittery yarn, and I've worked it in moss stitch to give it a standout pattern. You could work it in reverse stocking stitch. You can sit and chart, make your own patterns. You could do every other stitch. Pink, blue, pink, blue, pink, blue, and then on the way back, blue, pink, blue, pink. Make a little checkerboard of patterns, or 2 stitches, 2 stitches, 2 stitches, and a bigger checkerboard back. You can absolutely go to town with a riot of colour. Only takes a tiny little bit to do that middle bit. So all those little scrappy bits that you don't know what to do with, there. You can do all sorts of things. Leave the tail long to sew up with. That is your long bauble. As last year, you've got a couple of larger patterns in the advent to get your teeth into, give you a bit of a challenge. I'm not going to talk you through them particularly. The reindeer is very simple, basic shape. Just need to concentrate on casting off, casting on for his antlers. The little Santa pot, his nose and his whiskers are knitted separately. You're going to be working in little pieces of colour yarn. You're going to have a little piece of fawn here for the flesh. You're going to have a little piece of pink here, a bit of fawn in the middle, another length of pink and a piece of fawn. About, well, it only takes a couple of feet to do this, takes a bit more to do in the middle, and then this fawn is one, and then you've got a separate ball each side. It is in the instructions. If you get stuck, just give us a shout and I'll try and do a little bit more formal, but I want to get this all out on time. There's the base, just so you can see all the increasing. Okay, there we go, that's that. This little video is brought to you as part of our virtual knitting circle. If you join our email list, every month you will get a free knitting pattern pop through your email box. And that's it. You don't have to do any further action. You get a free pattern. I also upload on YouTube a little walkthrough of the pattern, various little tweaks, twiddles and things you might need to know to make it easier for you. And a fortnight later, you get a technique video, usually builds on what we've just made, or it might be I discuss a design feature or something like that, just to build your knowledge bank and help you. If you want to go on and buy the kit, that's fantastic. It's all on the website. We have a website. If you want to buy yarns and wools from us, we'd be exceedingly grateful. We are a tiny little independent knitting shop doing the best to help you knit. See you soon.